Hey guys, it is Roll Advantage. I'm Dakota, your DM. We're going to need you to choose an oath and memorize those tenets today as we're going to talk about Paladins and why you should pick up the banner of your god. So, Paladins, also known as Crusaders, and they come from Arthurian lore where the knights of the table all chose to fight and be renowned knights, if I get my history correct. I'm not the best history buff. So they're very melee-like, but they go and become half-casters, and they have a limited spell list. So they have 1d10 as their hit die, and they're proficient with all armors, with shields, simple weapons, and martial weapons. They don't have any tools that they start off with, and their saving throws are wisdom and charisma. These people are very, very charismatic, but they're also very, very good frontline fighters. You get to start off with a few different things. For equipment, so a martial weapon and a shield or 2 martial weapons. You get 5 javelins or a simple weapon of your choice. You get a priest pack or an explorer's pack, and then also some chainmail and a holy symbol. At level 1, you have divine sense, and it's really, really cool. So within 60 feet, you pretty much spread this cone, and you can detect if areas are consecrated or desecrated. You also know if there's any fiends like demons or devils around, you know if there's celestial beings or if there's undead creatures around. And you can identify them by their presence, but you don't know exactly who they are. So if it was a vampire, you don't know that it's Count Strahd. You can use this equal to your your charisma modifier +1 per day. Also at level 1, you have Lay on Hands, and so what this lets you do is you have a pool of points that's positive energy, and you can touch someone and expend these points to heal them. So you have 5 per paladin level, and if you spend 5 of these points, you can also cure someone of a disease. At level 2, you know spell casting, and so you're half caster, so your list is pretty short and maxes out at level 5 spells, but it's still very, very handy, and it's very thematic. So you can prepare spells that you know per day equal to half your paladin level plus your charisma modifier. And what's nice about these divine casters, such as clerics, is that you can swap them out per day to suit you as needed. Along with that, though, you are using charisma as your spell casting ability. Also at level 2, you have divine smite, and so when you strike a person or a creature with a melee weapon attack, you can actually expend a spell slot to do extra damage, which is 2d8 radiant damage. When you do hit them, and you expend a higher level spell slot, such as a level 2 or a level 3, you get an extra d8 per spell level higher than 1, and this maxes out at 5d8. Also, if the creature happens to be undead or fiend, it's an additional 1d8 damage. At level 3, you have divine health, so you are now immune to diseases, and at level 3 also you have a sacred oath that you take up. So you can either go Vengeance, Devotion, or Ancients, and this is all going to be explained later on in the video. At level 4, you have the ability score improvement, so you get that at level 4, 8, 12, 16, and 19, and of course you can always choose a feat if your DM allows them. At level 5, you have an extra attack, so when you take the attack action, you can attack twice per time instead of once. At level 6, you have the Aura of Protection, which I always, always, always love. Whenever you or a friendly creature within 10 feet of you are around and have to do a saving throw, that creature or yourself gets a bonus to their saving throw equal to their charisma modifier, or equal to your charisma modifier, my bad. And then also, at level 18, the range of your aura increases up to 30 feet. At level 10, you have the Aura of Courage, so all friendly creatures around you, and including you, within 10 feet, can't be frightened while you are conscious. And at level 18 also, this aura increases to 30 feet. So at level 11, you have Improved Divine Smite, so whenever you hit a creature, you're always dealing an extra 1d8 radiant damage. But also on top of that, if you do Divine Smite along with that, you get to increase that damage by an extra 1d8. Lastly, at level 14, you have Cleansing Touch, and so if a creature is affected by a spell, you can use an action to touch them that are willing, keyword is willing, and then you can end that spell effect on them. So like a Bestow Curse. Next, we're going to talk about your Sacred Oaths. Devotion is all about the law and being very, 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 very good as a person. They're very moral and good about what they do and their actions. For me, also, I would say that this is the usual paladin that everyone thinks about when you hear the term paladin. So you've got some channel divinity at level 3. You got a sacred weapon, so your weapon turns magical for 1 minute and it emits a bright light, and you deal extra radiant damage with that when you do your channel divinity. Or you can use your channel divinity to turn the undead, and so any undead creature within 30 feet of you has to do a saving throw or be running away from you frightened. At level 7, you have Aura of Devotion, and so what this does is any creature, including you, within 10 feet can't be charmed while you're conscious, and then at level 18, that range increases to 30. At level 15, you have Purity of Spirit, so you are always under the effect of a protection from good and evil spell. So at level 20, to cap off the Devotion Paladin, you have the Holy Nimbus, and so what this does as an action, you can emanate this really bright light for 1 minute. So if any creature tries to start their turn within this 30 feet radius, they take 10 radiant damage automatically. And then also, if you're going to be the target of any spell from a fiend or undead, you have advantage on the saving throws. And you can only do this once per long rest. So, Oath of the Ancients is all about the ancient gods of nature. Very Fey-like, druids worship these gods. And so these paladins are also known as Green Knights. And they revere all of nature. And so at level 3, you get the Channel Divinities. One of them is Nature's Wrath, and so within 10 feet of you, you can choose a creature that these spectral vines just pop out of the ground and try to restrain them. So they have to do a Strength or Dexterity saving throw against that. The other Channel Divinity that you have is Turn the Faithless, so any Fey or Fiend creature that you mutter these words to, it's very painful for them, and so you show your holy symbol, chant these words, and they want to get away from you. So at level 7, you have Aura of Warning. And so any creature within 10 feet of you or yourself, they have resistance to spell damage, which is really, really nice. And at level 18, that aura increases to 30 feet for a radius. So at level 15, there's Undying Sentinel. And so if you drop to 0 health but you're not killed outright, you can actually drop to 1 HP instead, and you can do this once per long rest. And then also, you have none of the effects from old age, and you can't be aged magically. Lastly, with the Ancient Paladin, you have Elder Champion, and so you can take on the force of nature, and when you do your action, you can use it for 1 minute to regain 10 HP per start of your turn. Whenever you cast a Paladin spell that has an action time of 1 action, you can actually cast it as a bonus action instead. And then any enemy creature within 10 feet of you has disadvantage on saving throws against your Paladin spells. And once you use that feature, you can't use it again until you have your next long rest. Oath of the Vengeance is a really, really dark one. I always consider them evil, because you're always going to choose the lesser of 2 evils to vanquish the greater evil. It's usually born out of fear and hate, your life being threatened by some outside force, and so you take up this Oath of Vengeance to right the wrongs that had created. Maybe it's some evil entity like Tiamat being summoned back in Horde of the Dragon Queen, or maybe you're playing Storm King Thunder like I am, and all the giants have been attacking since the Ordning shattered, and you're taking on this Oath of Vengeance to right the wrongs that they had done, including attacking Nightstone. So you've got a few Channel Divinities here at level 3. You've got Abjure Enemy. When a creature within 60 feet of you that you can see is around, they have to do a Wisdom saving throw, and if they fail it, they're going to be frightened from you. Fiends and undead creatures have disadvantage on this saving throw, so you're going to be scaring the hell out of people just being around them. You also can do Vow of Enmity. I don't know how to say that. As a bonus action, you can utter a vow against a creature within 10 feet of you, and you gain advantage on attack rolls against that creature for 1 minute, or until they die or fall unconscious. So at level 7, you have Relentless Avenger, and so whenever you get to hit a creature with an opportunity attack, say like they're walking by you, you can strike them and then move half of your distance away from them, and that does not provoke another attack of opportunity against you. So you've also got your Soul of Vengeance at level 15, and so whenever you use your Channel Divinity on a creature and cast that Vow of Enmity, if I'm saying that right, whenever you cast that on them, if that creature makes an attack roll against someone, you can use your opportunity attack to make a melee attack against them, and they have to be within range. So that's really, really cool. Lastly, at level 20, you have Avenging Angel. So for 1 hour, you gain the following benefits. Wings sprout from your back, and you have a flying speed of 60 feet, and you have this aura around you that goes for 30 feet as a radius, and anytime a creature enters that aura, or they start their turn in there, they have to do a wisdom saving throw or become frightened of you for 1 minute. And attack rolls against the frightened creature actually have advantage, and you can only do that once per long rest. So there you have it, guys. That's the Paladin in a nutshell. I hope you grabbed your banner and followed a proper god of your choosing, and I hope you know your tenets, because it's very important to you. Don't break your oath. If you do, we'll go and talk about the Oathbreaker in another video, possibly the next Paladin video, where I'll have a buddy of mine talk about how they liked playing a Paladin. In the meantime, if you liked the video, hit like, possibly subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.